Exposing the Truth is a presentation that is going to be provided to the public by Beacon Bags to talk about Beacon Bags and this event that's coming up. In the studio with me from Beacon Bags is board member Derrick Flynn. Derrick, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for coming in today. So what is Beacon Bags?
Beacon Bags originally founded, we heard about Denise March, our executive director, found out about human trafficking, heard about it, wanted to do something. She was compelled to do something, like most of us are when we find out about it. And she began to put together first night emergency bags to distribute to the police and victim services, so that when victims are removed from their trafficking situations, oftentimes they have nothing, literally the clothes on their back. So we put together these bags that are, think about it, with the first night, if you forget all your luggage and everything,
what do you need?
Toiletries and all of those things, and it gives them a little bit of something to restart their life in that first night. So that's where it started, and we've still do that, and we've moved now towards realizing to fill a void for providing residential care for survivors of human trafficking. There's really not much out there, so we're working towards building a wellness center for survivors here in Leeds and Grenville for trafficking survivors.
That's awesome. So you really couldn't take a person that has been trafficked and say put in a place like Interval House, something like along this line. That's not going to help them, is it?
No, and it's there's a couple of reasons for that, and it's domestic. And I never want to diminish what domestic violence survivors experience, but the dynamics are terribly different in such that with a domestic violence situation, you've got one victim and typically one perpetrator. Where you're dealing with human trafficking, you're dealing with organized crime, you're dealing with gangs, you're dealing with multiple levels of individuals, you're dealing with survivors that were in the sex trade, where oftentimes domestic violence survivors, their partners were purchasers of sexual services. So there's just a really dangerous dynamic, and for both the survivors currently in the shelters, also the ones that you bring in, and the workers themselves. And it's just, it can be misguided compassion at times. While the services are very, very similar, the nuances are really, really remarkably different.
Yeah, I would think so. I would think so. So so Beacon Bags, I believe it started back in 2017. So it's been a while. It's been a while. And you're at the point now, you feel that you want to, the organization wants to build a home that is specific for this need.
Yes.
And so obviously you have to fundraise.
That's a big part of it.
And that's what Exposing the Truth is all about.
Yeah.
What is the cost for the tickets to?
It's $40.
The date?
It is March 11th at the Prescott Golf Club.
At the golf club.
Yeah.
Okay.
They've been wonderful supportive. We held our annual golf tournament there, and it's a great venue. So we're really looking forward to having Michelle Ferguelli is our guest speaker. She's a survivor of trafficking. She also knows the injustice and the things surrounding shelters from the inside. She also works as a peer support worker with a shelter up in the GTA. So we're really excited to have her insight and perspective. She's a great speaker. We're really excited and privileged to have her.
That's great. That's great. So let's go back to, because you are a board member, Beacon Bags. Is it a charity? Is it registered as a charity?
Yes, we are a registered charity. Yeah.
Okay.
And we currently serve the needs of human trafficking survivors. I mean, we've provided some furniture and some appliances and helping survivors get that leg up in certain ways. We're not doing frontline work per se yet, but I can tell you I get calls every week from local mums and dads and grandparents and survivors that human trafficking is happening here in Brockville, in Leeds and Grenville, and it's just people don't see it.
Why don't we want to see it?
Unfortunately, typically our vision or our perception of human trafficking is crafted by Hollywood and the media, and that's not what it looks like.
No.
It just doesn't look like that, unfortunately. You have predators that prey on the vulnerable, and they exploit them in many, many ways. And vulnerabilities are subtle. It doesn't always have to be someone that's homeless, someone that's drug addicted. Oftentimes, it's just a familiarity that somebody is exploited in one way, shape, or form because of a mutual connection. There's lots of different ways, but and that's why our this event is one of the events that we hold that is so important to bring awareness to that. Like, what does it look like? So many of the parents that I worked with in the past, each of them has that, at some point has that question, what did I miss?
Yeah.
How did my daughter get trafficked? Typically boys get trafficked too, but how did my child get trafficked and we didn't see the signs? And it's because we don't know what the signs are. And typically the signs are pattern changes. We're looking for changes in behavior, changes in pattern. So we hold these events locally, both to bring awareness and the red flags and all of the things surrounding human trafficking, but more importantly, like collective outrage and awareness never put a roof over anybody's head or never fed somebody and never provided the basic human needs that a trafficking survivor needs in the moment so that she doesn't have to resort to go back to her trafficker or to resort to survival sex to survive the aftermath of being trafficked and just, police take her out of that situation and then what? That's when the heavy lifting begins.
Yes.
And Beacon Bags is working towards filling that void with our shelter.
It must be very difficult for a survivor to start their life over, meaning that the person that has been taking care of them has been feeding them whatever was needed for them to traffic, correct?
The mental chains and the psychological controls and abuse is so powerful that traffickers don't need physical chains to control their victims. And it's one of the things that really upsets me when I hear people, and it's often with sexual abuse survivors as well, why didn't you just leave?
No.
It's
No.
the mental chains and the psychological hold that traffickers have on these victims is just, it's really hard for normal human beings to understand that on a visceral level. We really have to begin to understand. That's why we try to bring awareness to it.
Yes, yes. And unfortunately, it is in our backyard.
It is.
Yes. It's not Toronto. It's Brockville and surrounding areas. Is there anything you want our viewers to glean from either Michelle Cumming or from exposing the truth about
Well, I
human
think
trafficking?
one of the things that's really important is that typically when we find out about human trafficking, it invokes an emotion in us. And I like to tell people that it is the most it is the most important social justice issue of our time. There's been social justice issues in our history. Well, this is the one that is here and now. Human trafficking is number 2 now in the world for criminal enterprise, and it's happening right here. Simply to just be upset about it without doing something about it doesn't get us anywhere. We need to turn that outrage into action, and Beacon Bags and partnering with Beacon Bags, either through fundraising and volunteering
Attending.
and attending is part of that dynamic of doing something right now about the situation that's happening right now. So we're really excited to bring that forward.
The website is?
beaconbags.ca.
Perfect.
And you can also go to our Facebook page, and that's a great, we have great information there too at Beacon Bags.
So the date again for that presentation is?
March 11th.
and it's at the Prescott Golf Club. What time?
At 6:30 to
6:30
8:30,
to
and
8:30.
refreshments will be served.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And they'll have the opportunity to speak with Michelle later if they
Yes.
so desire?
Yep.
Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you for coming in and sitting down with me.
My
Really
pleasure.
appreciate it.